MacVoices is sponsored by Smile and Text Expander, the utility that turns your keystrokes into words, sentences, paragraphs, and more. Text Expander snippets can be synced and used in any application on both Mac, iOS, and now even Windows. Find out more, including how Text Expander can work for your team, at smilesoftware.com. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for NAB and the SuperMeet. We're at the SuperMeet, and we're talking to Linda about Digital Bedrock, a new way to store your digital assets securely. Linda, it's great to have you.
Thank you. It's wonderful being here.
So tell me about Digital Bedrock.
Okay, Digital Bedrock is a managed digital preservation service. So what that means is we do the work for you. So we are your staff, we're your infrastructure. People don't have to buy hardware, they don't have to buy software, they don't have to license anything, they don't even have to learn how to do anything. They just have to give us their files and we will monitor them, we will take care of them. What that means is we will monitor their health. So we'll do bit checks on them over time, every 6 months. We will also monitor format obsolescence, which is really critical. So think about how many file formats have we ever had in our lives. We can't open them anymore. The softwares, we all have experienced that. So we monitor all the formats that come into our system, and if there's any of those vulnerabilities, it's software, it's operating system that software requires be run on it, a file system, hardware, any of those is no longer used or is deprecated by the manufacturer, that means that format is at risk of obsolescence. And we notify the client, you gave us all these files in the collection, now they're endangered. And so we'll tell them, then these are your files, these are recommended practices that you could do to keep them alive so you can use it in the future. What we also do, though, is that, again, we monitor them, we monitor the files, make sure they're healthy over time, we monitor obsolescence, we copy them offline. So that security is also part of our service. So only the client's files are on their tape. We use LTO7 tape. We're using LTFS, so there's no lock-in, it's all an open system. If anybody wants to leave us, they can just take their files and put them in another LTL drive and go off and do whatever they want. But we keep them offline, locked in turtle cases, even in 3 geographically separated locations around the US, where all of the 3 are in the United States. And that means that if they're not online, nobody can touch them. They're totally offline. The client has a portal where they can go online, they can search for the data that they gave to us, they can see low-res proxies if they want. There's some who don't even want proxies up there, because in case anybody has unauthorized access for some reason. But they can search and they can find and they can request their master files. And of course we have to validate and authenticate that they're authorized to accept those files before we give them to them. And we'll just deliver them to their files in whatever medium they want, however they want it, within a few hours of request.
That was my next question, is how quickly does it happen?
Yeah, you contact us, and of course it depends on how large the file is, but you'll tell us, you go onto your portal, you'll see the file ID for the file you want, and you'll contact us and say, I need file ID 944, and we can search into our database, we'll see file ID is on this LTO tape, which is there in our secure data center, and we'll just pull the tape out, we put it into the drive, we pull up the file. You can, if it's not too big, you'll get it in 2 hours.
I love the name Digital Bedrock because I have this vision of being underneath a mountain somewhere out in the desert of Nevada. And I'm sure it's not, but it's a great image.
Thank you, really appreciate that. Yes, because we wanted to give the sense of it's digital files, which can be so ephemeral, but yet we put them in Bedrock. We make sure that they are around for thousands of years.
Talk to me a little bit about, you say that you monitor the integrity of the data.
Right.
And we all know about bit rot on certain media, but what is the active process of you monitoring that, and how often does that occur?
So when we ingest a file, we immediately create a SHA-256 checksum, but when we write it off to tape, we create a SHA-512 checksum. So we don't consider MD5 to be secure at all. That's really just useful for duplicate detection, copy detection. So that SHA-512 is really our main one. And in fact, if you give us DPX files or container files, we will be creating SHA-512 checksums at the frame level. So you give us a DPX that has 150,000 frames inside it. Each one of those has its own checksum and technical metadata that's been extracted from it. So we can replace those individual frames. If you call us and say, gosh, I only need to replace 5 or 6 frames because your own copy that you have has, they flipped, they're bad, we can go and find those individual frames and send them to you. So you can insert them. So we do the fixity checks every 6 months. And so we'll take your tape, so we have a schedule in our database, and so there's a flag saying, okay, these tapes were written 6 months ago, it's time to check them. So we'll put the tapes into our robot, run the fixity check on it, and then it'll say pass, fail, and it's going to be pretty much pass, because LTO tape is and we're using barium ferrite-based tape. It's really stable and very secure, and the fact it's not even in a robot, it's stored offline, so it's inert, it's just sitting there. And we verify the files once they're written to tape, because that usually is the failure point for files on LTO tape. Why people try to restore them is because they weren't written well. And so that's why we always validate and make sure they were written correctly and written well. So
I'm really intrigued by the idea too that you monitor the file formats and so you know at any time what you have in the inventory of stored files.
Yes.
And can warn the user, because it's shocking to me how many file formats go out of use how quickly, and what a problem it can be to try to get them back.
Completely, right. And that's why we try to catch that before it happens. So that's why we have endangered. So when a file is ingested, it might be, flagged as being it's okay, it's still supported, but in 10 years, because we're getting the file header off the files, so that we're always monitoring over time the data in the database. And so if something suddenly changes, it's endangered, we notify you before it's dead. So you have a chance to act on it before it becomes completely obsolete.
Okay, so now we get to the big question, price. What kind of pricing do we have for this? For how much capacity? And I'm sure it's a subscription service of some kind.
It's actually not subscription at all. No, you pay for what you're using, basically. And so why add an extra cost on top of it? So our pricing is based on the processing fee, which is the ingest fee, which is a one-time only, and you never have to pay it again. And then you pay for the media itself, too, and you pay sales tax on the media. So we're resellers for Fujifilm and for the turtle cases that we put them in. Why we do that is so then it's really clear that you own the physical media that your files are on. In case there's any legal question about your files and who owns them. You own the content, of course, that's in the SLA, but you also own the physical media they're on. So that's really careful. So you pay that one-time cost, and then you pay the ongoing maintenance. And that's based on per the gig, and that pays for your 3 copies geographically dispersed. It pays for the fixity checks every 6 months, obsolescence checks ongoing, your migration to LTO 9 in 5 years. You pay that, just as part of your annual fee, and your access to your portal and the proxies that are in it.
So to go back, I want to make sure, and I'm going to make this very simple, but if I give you a CD's worth of, or a DVD's worth of data, and you take care of it, I actually own that DVD that you put it on, store it on. And so if I come to you and say, I can't afford the service anymore, or for whatever reason I want to discontinue, you will give me that DVD back.
Well, it's LTO 7 tapes, and so we're going to give you your tapes back.
Give tapes back.
Yep, your tapes, and again, they're in LTFS, so you can just put them into any drive and go off and put them wherever you want. You can download, we'll give you your data, of course, because you own your data, that's in it. The technical metadata we extracted, we'll give that to you. What you can't get is your obsolescence data, because that's our system that we have a patent pending on it. And you can just go, but however, and we'll delete your proxies, we will delete your portal access, but we're going to hang on to the data records that we had your data as an audit, in case you ever come back to us and say, I thought I gave you this file, and we'll say, it's not here that you gave it to us. And so it's an audit trail and a protection for you as well. Yeah.
So,
and it costs nothing to get your data back out. Yeah, we don't charge you to get your data out. Yeah.
Is there a minimum amount that I can come to you with,
No.
I'm sure there's a maximum somewhere. You would have to buy new capacity, but I can bring 20 photographs to you that are really important to me, and that's okay.
Yeah, we have one client who has 23 gigs, and those are really important 23 gigs to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The website where folks go to learn more.
www.digitalbedrock.com.
Thank you so much for the time. Fascinating service.
Thank you so much.
Folks, more from the SuperMeet in Las Vegas. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com. Yes, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is MacVoices.